Hi everyone. So yes, my name is Bassy. I'm product manager at MYOB. So coming in peace, I'm not wearing my MYOB t-shirt tonight. Some people ask me, but no. For the people who don't know what MYOB is, it's a software company providing accounting, tax, advisory services to SMB, small, medium businesses. I'm passionate about product management, and today I want to share my experience, my view of the role of product manager, and what I've learned in my career, and how this role evolved for me through the years. So just a quick note, I'm currently on parental leave, so I just gave birth to my second son 4 months ago. And preparing this talk, thanks Ashik for pushing me, has been a really good exercise for me to just first stay in touch with the industry, stay in touch with product management, take a step back on what I did, the challenge I had, and actually see what I could improve, what I need to learn more, what I need to develop, and where I should put the focus on when I'm back. So I'm definitely out of my comfort zone today because that's the first time I'm actually talking, and some people push me for ages to do that, and I'm like, that's the time to do it. Maybe because in my career right now I've got a break and I've got enough space in my mind to actually sit down and go through my career. So that was my team before I went on parental leave, and this is my new team today. It's a lot of fun. It's little helper, teamwork. I'm busy, same, but different occupation, but it's going really well. Well, I didn't come to talk about my kids tonight, so that's just going to be the only picture. Is there any product manager in the room today? Yes, I knew. Some people who actually want to become product manager. And some people working with product manager every day. Yes, yeah. So if you start actually looking at what is a product manager, what the hell is doing a product manager? Why is my product manager? Why is my product manager always in meeting? What is really doing my product manager every day? If you start Googling and you start looking on the definition for a product manager, I always joke and say it's all about Venn diagrams. You're going to find a bunch of Venn diagrams showing the intersection between something and something else and something else, right? So the one we know pretty well today is that's one for Martin Erickson, putting the PM in the intersection between business, tech, and UX, so to basically maximize the business value, work with the tech to understand the effort on building the product, and be the voice of the customer. If you look a little bit deeper, you can find this kind of diagram, which is a mix of everything, overlapping accountabilities, a bit of a unicorn trying to do everything. So mix of program, product, UX. Well, if my boss sees that, I don't think she's going to be happy. So, well, just to say that I don't really think there is one single definition on what a product manager is, and it will really depend on the industry, the size of the company, the people you're working with, or the product. I've been, out of curiosity, I've actually been looking at job ad recently, not to look for a new job, but because I actually wanted to know a little bit more how the product manager job is described in the market. And I found that one that I found extremely funny, saying that they are looking for an X-Men mutant-like combination of project management, product management, some code designer DNA, all that with a lightning. So, and if you keep reading, it's actually project and product management first, so it's a bit confusing. Developers make the world go round. You will make sure they stick to schedule, right? And of course, just a little bit of sprinkles. Gantt chart, Jira, Trello, Slack, exciting, yes. We really like that. So well, just hide the name of the company. That was pretty funny. So there is plenty of ad like that on the market, and it's actually show that everyone's got a slightly different opinion on what a product manager is and what we should do. So what's following is more like my view and the different steps I've been through in my career, where I started, where I am now, what I've learned, where I failed. And I do think the definition also changed on my side from a few years ago and now, which is pretty cool because it's full of learning. So I've got a technical background, and I've studied engineering at school, and I started as a developer. I've always been lucky in my career to find opportunities in different roles, be part of a fast-paced environment, and be able to learn a lot. So I've been developer, team leader, dev manager, and I had an opportunity to actually work as a product manager in a company based in Vietnam, Tunisia, and France. And that was the first time for me, and I just accepted the challenge because I quite like this functional aspect of things. That was new for me. And when I started, my world was more around, okay, we're going to make product, and we're just going to release things. Releasing. Feature factory, as would say John Cutler. You just sit down, you crank it up the line, and you send them. And you go, and you just say yes to your stakeholder. So you've got the sales coming and say, oh, we need this to close the deal. Okay, well, we're going to do it. So that was extremely waterfall, extremely top-down, output focus, solution-driven, and etc. And I started to actually question things a little bit more. Like, this is weird. How do we know we're building the right thing? How do we know our customers are using the solution, or we make the right decision? And I was definitely falling off that cliff, to be honest. And I started to read a bit more about product management resources. So read blogs, articles, listening to talks, find books, and etc. And asking questions. And well, for me, we were definitely not doing the right thing in that one. And for instance, we were not talking to customer at all. And I'm like, yeah, how do we actually measure that all the effort and the money we just invested is justified? My boss was always like, yeah, we need to do that. We need to build a task management because I'm using task management and it's great. And I've just realized that stakeholders usually they think they know the user better than everyone else, just because they maybe spoke to one customer and they will just tell you, yeah, it's what we need, it's exactly what we need. So I've just continued my journey of learning of what's product management, and I've just realized that, and I think that's just the beginning. Product management is around building the right thing. So I drew another Venn diagrams just to make sure I stick to the Venn diagram pattern. To really just like product management is about just creating this love between what the customer needs and what actually the business needs to grow and meet the business objective. And I definitely changed my mindset and changed the way we were working on being a little bit more customer focused. Focusing on building the right thing, right, effectiveness, and be able to say no to sales, no to support team, or coming with their request and telling us, yes, this is definitely, well, we definitely need to talk more about why we need to do that and which problem we are trying to solve. And I read this book. Does anyone know this book? So written 10 years ago. That's the first edition from Marty Kagan, and how to create product customers love. And this book is full on a lot of awesome information on the product manager role, the different role in the company that will interact with product manager on marketing, technology, etc. And I still have 3 big takeaways on this book. Is involve your team early, so enlist your team early in the process, right? From the product discovery, invite people to customer interviews, share what's happening. So give context from the beginning, because first you're going to start creating an alignment, and secondly, you're going to just give enough time for people to take a step back and give you a better assessment instead of having all the information in the last minute with no context and having to basically start making decision or commitment on etc. Lead by objectives, which is not something new as well, because I think now we start to do this pretty well. But dictating and telling people what to do doesn't work, and I definitely think it has been proven quite a lot in the industry today. So as a PM, you're just here to make sure people understand what they do and get a vision, and just not telling them, okay, we're going to do this and that's all. And the last one, which I like, is the depth of the product requirement document. So I believe some companies are still writing this kind of document today. Marty Kagan insists a lot on that one, saying that a prototype is much better than a 100 document where you're going to really waste a lot of time. And start prototyping, start showing this to your customers, start testing your idea. If you really need some alignment or sharing information, there are much better techniques today in the industry to share information than just writing a long big document with stories and etc. Funny thing, Marty Kagan actually wrote a second edition of this book last year that I'm busy reading. It's really good. Did you read it? Yes. And this book is focusing a little bit more on OKR, and like roadmap are dead. We're now focusing on outcomes, collaboration, insisting a lot on the collaboration aspect, and he also deals with the competition aspect, like don't chase a customer. People will buy your product because your product is different, not because it's a better copy of what exists today. And one thing that resonates to me is really insist on the fact that don't try to be a hero. And if you ask me what is a product manager is not a hero. The product manager is not the person that's going to know everything about the customer or everything in the business, right? The product manager is here like a bridge, not a hub, a bridge, to actually connect things together and make people collaborate together. So definitely recommend this if you're interested in the product management field. So after that, I've kind of built my set of magic questions, and everyone knows this question, right? It's not a surprise. Anyone knows this question, but I'm not sure we use it all the time. So what problem do we need to solve? Who are we solving the problem for? And how do we measure success? How do we see we're successful? Yes, that's a set of annoying questions that we keep asking all the time. But if we don't ask them, we're actually not sure we're going to do the right thing. And I think we should keep repeating, keep asking this question. And it's just a quick way to get your head around the problem pretty easily. And it's applicable to the product management field, to the software, but it's applicable to plenty of field and other jobs. So yeah. The thing I've changed, and still in my career, because during my journey I was promoted from product manager to director of product management, and that was a great opportunity for me to start applying everything I was reading, everything I was questioning. And that one was a big kind of a shift as well in my mindset as working as a team. And I would even say go beyond your team, create the value somewhere else, but to start working with everyone around you. So the PM in the middle, what you need to create is this two-way communication, open the communication with others. So don't only talk to a dev team, talk to everyone around you. Go to your executive team and ask the big boss a question around, okay, what is your strategy? Why are we heading in this direction today? Go talk to the customer, go talk to support, trying to understand the pain, or consultant, the pain of the user today, because consultants are on the field and they know what's happening. So big shift as well on this area for me. That was new, but that was great because I learned a ton of information. And I started to be able to back up the decision we were making. We had no data on how the user was using our product. So what I've pushed was to create a kind of a data lake to be able to get more metrics and just be able to say, okay, they're using this that way, and it just show us different kind of behavior. So introducing UX as well as a kind of a process in the company, setting up some customer interview process just to make sure we were doing the right thing. And that was great until the company closed in Vietnam, and I didn't lose my job, but I left before losing my job. But that was actually great, and I also discovered politics a lot, which I was not discovering before. But that was great. So then I decided to change. So based on what I said, I've got few takeaways on my experience, and I do think, I really believe the product manager is not the mini CEO. So there is this guy from Netscape, I think he wrote a document 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Ben Horowitz, saying, he wrote a document about bad product manager and good product manager. And he said a good product manager is the mini CEO. And it's incorrect. Why is it incorrect? Because the CEO, right, set the vision, the big vision, right, where the company is heading, the goals, and etc. You as a PM, you're just here to take this vision and share this vision with others and ensure the team will actually provide outcome that's going to follow this vision. A CEO look at the big picture, really big picture. As a PM, you're not looking only at details, but you're looking at a picture that is actually smaller than the CEO. The CEO make decision, right? He's the big boss. If you expect to become a product manager and be the big boss, you are wrong, right? So this is incorrect, and I think started your career with just knowing that being a product manager is definitely not being a big boss. You will become way less frustrated during your job. Same, a product manager is not the single ringable neck. First, why do we need a single ringable neck? And secondly, what about the team actually gets this ownership? What about we share the ownership? It's not only about the product manager. A big learning, and that was definitely an area I was failing before, and I still have to learn. Leave the domain expertise to the experts. What does it mean? It means if you have a UX working with you, leave the UX to the UX people. If you have the chance to have a data scientist, leave the data to these people and work with them. If you have a product marketer, it's not everywhere. Work with this product marketer. Don't try again to be the hero, trying to do everything, and at the end of the day, doing nothing. And big learning was, and it's still the case. I think today we definitely need more product thinking than product managing. Doesn't mean we don't need product manager, and I'm product manager, so I'm not saying we should get rid of the product manager. I'm just saying that everyone actually should provide some product thinking, not only the PM. So then I changed my job, and I really wanted to explore the New Zealand market, and I found a job at MYOB. New job, new journey, right? So this image is from John Cutler. Same. So I was extremely confident when I came to MYOB. I was like, yes, I've learned a lot. I know what I'm doing. It's going to be fine. It's going to be awesome. Mistake, right? Never assume you know everything. No, I had a really rocky beginning at MYOB. And well, due to the current situation, due to a team sick of having top-down management, a team that was actually doing, I say a team, that was multiple team, working on things they actually don't know why they're working on these things, and the communication was extremely broken. One of the team was working on a service that was already failing, and they spent 6 months on it, and then they had to pivot, and it was kind of always perish, pivot all the time. So, well, I came and I'm like, yeah, hello, what can I do? And it's actually kept me up at night, to be honest, because I didn't know where to start. I basically lost everything I learned. I was not able to just apply what I learned before. I arrived and I was kind of stuck. And is anyone know the box system? So I was stuck inside a box, right? So there is a book called Leadership and Self-Deception, which is a great book and I definitely recommend. So this book explores how we treat others. So you inside the box, right? You start treating others as objects, right? To meet your own kind of objective. And the goal is to accomplish your goals and you don't care about the others, right? And you don't want really to understand what's happening. And the opposite, you are outside of the box. And outside of the box means you start treating others like human, right? With their dream, with their hope, and building some empathy. When I started, I actually went directly in the box. I closed the box completely. Why? Because there was this angst against management in general. And I started to actually fall in the trap of not opening the conversation. So what I tried is to do things by myself, to try to say, okay, I've got objective, I'm gonna reach my objectives, right? I've got mine. They don't want to collaborate, it's fine. I'm gonna do things by myself. I'm gonna just build a roadmap by myself. I'm just gonna work on impact mapping by myself. Well, it didn't work, right? Being inside of the box just generates stress, will generate conflict, lack of trust. And actually, if you stay in the box, you're never gonna achieve any result. Even if you think you're gonna achieve your own result, you're not gonna achieve any result. So, well, so I don't know, one day I had this concept of inside the box and I'm like, no, it cannot continue like that. It's definitely not working. So what should I do? And I just started to, as I said, treat people more like human, like trying to say, okay, if they react like that, that's just a system making them behaving like that, right? Something happened. I'm not responsible for it, but something happened in the past, and now people are just closed and don't want to talk. So my view on this is, why should I not just try my best to help them? Is it not really the product manager role to help them, to try to understand what is really the problem deeply? And again, I've really opened this communication and I started to look for some coaching, for some mentoring on all of this, and just took people in room trying to facilitate some session. And progressively you get out of this kind of box things and you start building much better relationship. Help your team to deliver the right product. And that was definitely not what I was doing when I started, but I had to be honest, it took me more than 6 months to get out of this box and start experimenting things and start trying to do things. I think the role of the product manager is to help in which way? You have technical people and non-technical people. So what we want is really to make sure we translate the technical aspect to the non-technical people and convey this vision to the different people in the business. And I don't think today in general, we don't communicate enough, and we will never communicate enough. We can't say, "Oh, I'm going to stop communicating." No, we should be transparent. We should work toward alignment, and try to share as much as we can in the business. And then I read this book, "Act Like a Leader, Think Like a Leader." Is anyone know this book in the room? It's great. I recommend this book. This. Erminia Ibarra, she's a researcher, a professor in the UK, and she actually studied the development of the leader identity. And this book is awesome. The whole purpose of this book is to say, if you really want to start doing things, start acting, and then think about it, right? And get a change from the outside. And she actually called it an outside principle. And what's an outside principle is actually, she shifts the model around and she say, if you spend your time thinking, you're not gonna achieve anything. You actually need to start doing things, and you're gonna learn, and then you're going to just grow in your role. And she used an example in the book. The guy is named Jacob, and he's an operation manager, and he's promoted to another senior role, more like leadership role, and he's responsible for kind of evolving the structure of the company, set a new vision, and really change the way the company is working. And this person starts by allocating 2 hours every day of his time to think about how he's going to do it. And it's not working, right? Because if you just spend 2 hours every day and you don't practice, well, actually you have a pile of things to do, and it always takes over your thinking. So the best way to start doing the thing is really to act. And this outside principle actually goes into 3 different steps. The first one is redefine your job, right? Shift your focus. If your focus is to lead and for instance for this guy, just create a vision and change the way people are working, just shift, okay? Get out of your current position and just go talk to others, try to learn and try to experiment things. Secondly, redefine, like work on your network, right? So you need people around you, you need to get feedback, you need to get advice, you need to get coaching. And she truly advised that the second step is to work on with around you and who you're going to talk to. And the last one is actually redefine yourself and become authentic. And then start stepping up in the role. Great reading, right? And I definitely recommend. And based on this, what I want to show you a little bit, I just want to show you right after, I selected 3 skills that I want to explore today with you as more like leadership skill and that I've used in my career, which are alignment, facilitation, and storytelling. So the first one I want to talk about is alignment, because I believe that's the most challenging one, especially for a product manager, because everyone's got different opinion. Okay, everyone's got a different view on how things should happen. And sometimes you need to have conversation, hard conversation, normal conversation, depends. But this conversation needs to happen. And an alignment is required between different parts of the business just to make sure we're all going in the same direction. And then the product manager will definitely help on that spot. So I've got this kind of diagram in my head. I didn't put on a slide, but a lack of alignment. Sorry?
Making sure that the company is aligned?
It depends on the size of the company. If it's a...
like the CEO is responsible.
Yes, but you convey the message from the CEO as well. And I think you go into deeper level than the CEO. So I don't think the CEO will really care about specific problem or talk with the team about technology. Again, it depends on the situation. If you for instance, at MYUB, I don't really think team lead go into much detail. I've worked in smaller company where you're closer to the CEO, and in this case, but I still don't think the PM is a mini CEO. So if you lack of alignment within your company, you actually have way more involvement from stakeholder, right? And as I said, stakeholder, they want feature, they know better, they want things. So if they don't know what's happening, they're going to get involved. And if they get involved, it leads to less autonomy, right? So less autonomy will actually potentially lead to less customer-centric feature. If you make sure you've got this alignment from the beginning, you're going to have the trust and the alignment with different stakeholders, and so the autonomy to work on the problem and to actually be more customer-oriented. And it's not easy, right? And the best way to do this is to be extremely transparent. Like if you do make choices in your roadmap on prioritizing a feature with another, just make it transparent as much as you can. Show things, explain things. Have a chat with the CEO to just say, okay, we're doing this first because, well, this is going to have a better impact and it's going to meet our goals in a different way, etc. So I've been using a framework named Auftragklärung, which is a German name, which means autonomy through alignment. So it's a framework developed by product manager from Sing, a German company in Europe. A little bit of context. This actually is inspired from a military concept where the purpose is to actually give empowering autonomous troops to act towards specific goals during the military on the 19th century. And why? Because a few years ago, a long time ago, there were no emails, no phone, communication were extremely slow, right? So if you actually wait to get an order to take advantage on a situation, you will not win, right? So this German commander just pushed, I think it was a Russian or Prussian, really pushed, empowered the team to make quick decision on the field just to make sure they could adapt to the situation. So this framework is really around, again, alignment and clarification, right? You're going to get more clarity on the intent, on why you are doing things. That there is no specific artifact. You have big theme that we're going to see, but it's more like a structure for a dialogue. So what is great, and I've actually been using this framework for quite a long time now. First thing, it's going to create this active dialogue in the team. So you will actually get kind of a different view from everyone, different expectation, and you will, most of the time, I've learned new things by doing this with the different stakeholders. It doesn't have to be only the dev team. It can be any stakeholder that you're going to work with on a specific initiative. It just actually gives space for people to contribute, right? Because we have all different way to work, different behavior, and sometimes this kind of a meeting could help people that would be discreet to share what they think or ask the right question. And it's also extremely good exercise for product manager to kind of explain the vision from different angles. Because you stay out of the buzzword or the keyword that you keep using in the PowerPoint presentation, etc. And you really go deeper in, okay, what is our intent? What do we really want as a team here? And this is the intent part. So you work with the different people in the room to say, okay, for this specific group of users, we want to achieve this value and in order to get this done. Or you can use the hypothesis model to say, we believe that this will provide this outcome, etc. You try to connect this to the higher intent of the company. So what a CEO will actually work more. So one level up, two level up, it depends again on the size of the company. Making sure you set your context. So what is the current situation? What is not working? Why do we actually need to meet today? Why do we need to talk today? And the boundaries. And I think the boundaries is extremely important to give the autonomy for the team. Because as soon as you set the value you want to deliver and the boundaries, you actually can let the team, people work by themselves. So most of the time, we get an alignment top-down, right? And it's pretty classic. But this one actually provides bottom-up alignment, which works perfectly well. And remember this two-way communication and the bridge thing. This is as a product manager actually come and help the different part of the business to communicate together. So again, it's definitely about dialogue, helping you thinking. And one recommendation of this is just iterate. You don't do an Auftragklärung once. You do many Auftragklärung. If you have new people in your cross-functional team or in your team, just do it again and make sure everyone is actually up to date and aligned with what you're trying to achieve. So that was a huge learning on my side. And I'm still happy to see that most of the team at MOE, the team I'm working with, are still using it, even by me being away. They kept this framework and they just do it. So you don't have to stick to the different elements in this framework, but just pick. Actually pick the element you want to discuss. If your problem is around boundaries, just maybe spend more time on setting up your boundaries, etc. So that was the alignment part. The next one is facilitation, and facilitation is not an easy thing as well. Actually, the three skills are all pretty difficult. Facilities mean easy, easy to do in Latin. So it's not new. We don't dictate things, and I think the day where we were telling people what to do is gone, is over. And leaders facilitate, they don't dictate, right? So our role is to pull ideas from others, and then give this idea to a team, and then they can own it and then get successful outcome from these ideas, right? Facilitating is, I would say, just take any opportunities to facilitate. It could be a design sprint, it could be an abstract classroom, it could be a lift-off session, it could be just a retrospective. Take the opportunity to do it, because I truly believe if you're a good facilitator, you can do any role, right? You can shift from any role, because today it's all about making sure people work together, collaborate together, and understand each other. So go beyond your role and give a try and just do it. And the last one is storytelling. Storytelling, it's not only a communication tool. Storytelling is much more powerful than actually we think. It's powerful to create consistency, to create alignment, to inspire people, to motivate people, and to just convey a message, right? Storytelling is another difficult one because it's abstract. It's an abstract discipline, and there is nothing really tangible. You just have to practice, 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 practice. And as soon as you have an opportunity to share something, just try to do it. And depending on your stakeholder, depending on the people you're working with, you will see that you have to adapt your storytelling according to your audience. So what I just want to share today is I want to just introduce the concept of narrative and the concept of narrative storytelling, which is a little bit different than just purely storytelling. What is a story? A story has got a character, right? And things happen around this character. A story's got a beginning, a middle, and a end, right? We swimming in a sea of stories in the business, a lot of stories, everywhere. If you take a narrative's got this broader vision. It looks at the future a little bit more, right? So I've got this kind of comparison of a story are the pearls, right? And the narrative is a necklace that's going to take all the stories together. So doing more like narrative storytelling is much more strategic than just sticking to one story. And you just need to define which framework you want to have. So still working on a character, customer, the motivation, the jobs of this customer, the conflict, the problem you're trying to resolve or solve, and the settings, and sharing this story. And actually allow people to kind of see the forest from the tree, because the narrative will just put you one level up on this and will make more sense. So if you have to actually share a vision and share ideas, it's better to compile your set of stories together and build this narrative. And I find this kind of diagram really cool, because there is different way to actually tell a story, linear way or non-linear way. So this is a framework called situation complication resolution framework. So you have different ways to share your story. You can start with the situation, a little bit like the abstract classroom. You start with the situation, and then you give your complication and how you solve everything. This is kind of the classic way, and it's just painting the whole journey. The non-linear way could be you start with the complication, right? Then you jump back in the situation and you finish with the resolution. The problem with that one is you actually will spend a little bit more time to talk about the resolution where you don't take people on the journey. And the last one is about you start with the resolution, with the solution. And this one is actually great when you have a group of stakeholders that want to stick to the point, like if you talk to an exec and you really have to just go straight to the point and you just have 10 minutes. You start with your resolution, and then if you have time, you go through the situation and you give detail as you go. So storytelling, just again, need practicing a lot, and that's something I'm extremely bad with, and I'm still learning. And take any opportunity you have to actually tell a story, have a point and have a story. So my takeaways on this is, well, to move from product management to product leadership is just get out of your comfort zone. Talk, share, take opportunities to just see another team, facilitate, learn. I'm out of my comfort zone today, right? And I was a good experience. So yeah, doing just brown bag or stuff like that. Just go beyond the management part. Product management is not only the management part, not at all, just a really tiny piece. And keep learning, get mentor, and get coach if you can. And just do it. That's all. Thank you. I need feedback. So you can scan this QR code and just send me a few feedback if you have like 2 to 3 minutes, because that's the first time for me. So I want to know what I need to improve.
Awesome, thank you for that, Marie. I think we have time for 1, maybe 2 quick questions. If you correct. Anybody has questions for Marie? Questions?
I'm curious. Right near the start, you had a slide which talked about roles, products touching roles. Roles in a business that touches the product.
Yeah. The slide with the different diagrams.
With the Venn diagrams of different products touching roles.
Yeah, the first one. Yes. Well, I kind of. This one?
No, it's roles was more that one.
The second, that's fine.
Hmm.
That one.
There.
Next one.
So I was just curious, as a software developer myself, I was curious as to why none of the technical roles, why you think none of the technical roles touch the product. It's like product adjacent role, is technical not a product adjacent role, or is that?
Oh, I don't believe in that one. So for me, it's kind of this type of diagram you will find that will put.
So you don't agree with
No, I don't. No, I don't. If I have to actually draw something better, I would modify a little bit more that one, and I would actually use product, right, including UX, dev, etc. I would use market for the customer aspect, the competition, etc. The business for the goals, and I would add another one, which is the organization. Organizational efficiency, because I do believe the PM play a role in the culture in a company. So what culture you want to have, and how you actually work with developers, and how you work with the team. And if I really have to draw a Venn diagram, I would have 4 circles.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.